Hey, Facebookers. Okay, so I am going to do a rant word jam of my thoughts about a few big topics that feel easy to me because I talk about them all the time. Life purpose. You hear this all the time, living big. And what I encounter all the time is people that know there's something more. There's something more. There's something else. And our limited mental perception believes that that means bigger. And so I want to talk about this concept of life purpose and living big, and that our mental capacity and how we kind of see the world, like, you know, something bigger, we'll think celebrity, or we think lots of responsibility, or we'll think we have to do something that we don't really want to do. That doesn't actually make sense, because if you know anything about me, or if you followed anything I've done, I'll just say my whole philosophy is like, the only thing to do is to be you. That's an incredible oversimplification, because the process of becoming us is it took me 15 years to become more me, and it's just a constant evolution at this point. There's no arrival. I don't okay, so that's another myth. You're going to get somewhere. Everything will align, and you meet the right person and all the money. And that's again, a mental construct of success in a way, because who I work with typically are people that are successful. They have the partner, they own the company, or they're a high level in the company, or they're in a good position at the company, that they are at mastery at the thing that they do. And yet there's this persistent, almost ache that there's something else, there's something more. And then especially between the ages of like 30 to 40, like turning 40, turning 50, turning 60, it's like, what? Wow, who am I? What am I doing? Am I doing what I came here to do? Am I me? Becomes a huge, huge priority. So in your 20s, 30s, 40s, it's like, family, making your way through, money, stuff, house, lots of distractions. And then life gets really real, and there is this feeling, it's a visceral feeling of, what is my purpose? Am I living big? Am I, you only live once? And there's all of these tags and hashtags and all this kind of social media stuff about this phenomenon of there's something more. And so what I wanted to talk about is that, sure, there is, because if you're leaving yourself, if you're leaving your nature to be successful in a metrics that you didn't actually align to or create, or doesn't match you, you will never feel successful. You will always feel this ache, because there's something more, because it's trying to talk to you. The ache isn't there to mess with you or punish you. It's there to talk to you. And again, I'm oversimplifying, because if you don't know how to connect your body, to connect to its intelligence, if you don't know how to connect to the heart center, these are just other brains. Like, they're like our mind that we know so well. The school system, all of our ways of being in society are very mind dominant. That there's a body, there's a heart, there's energy centers that all are trying to communicate with us. And so what I find is people will take depression medication and anxiety medication to deal with, one, all of the emotions they've never dealt with in their entire life, because we've never been taught that. It's ridiculous, but I'm hoping to educate people about this now that I've learned how to. And that's, again, an evolving continuation. But if you don't know how to feel your feelings and let that intelligent emotional energy move through your body, they do get gunked up, they do get backed up. It's just like any piping system. It's just like if you have a basement, I use the metaphor of a basement. Like, if it just keeps piling up with stuff, you're going to be really overwhelmed with all the stuff. It's not just going to be this basement, this room, this space. So when it comes to this soul level feeling, and that's what it is, and so we can't get our fingers on it. It's like, it's, so then we read the book and we go to the course, and we maybe do, now people are going and doing ayahuasca, and they're doing bold things. They're going to places like Peru. They're doing pilgrimages. They're doing big actions towards trying to get to this. You don't have to actually go anywhere, like, unless you're really called to go somewhere. It's all here. And when I keep pointing here, I just mean like to you physically in the body. So that's my other point, is the biggest point spiritual people make, the biggest mistake spiritual people make. And my point is that they leave their body, they leave their humanness, because they feel like, oh, I can connect to divinity, I can connect to good energy, I can be with animals, be in nature, but oh, this world, no. I've totally done that too. I mean, I literally live in the woods in Canada. But that wasn't because I was running away from something. I was moving towards more of who I am. And that's the difference. When you're running away from something, it will chase you, because everything needs to be integrated and nothing needs to be fought against, or you're always just going to be fighting. So what spiritual people do, and then so there's two different camps here, right? There's like the type A, does all the stuff, does the societal checklist, makes sure the kids have the organic food and they're doing everything right. And everyone knows what that checklist is. I don't have to do a thing about that. There's the stuff you need to do: be a good person, do this, do right, look good, look to the best of your ability, lose the weight on New Year's. Like, there's just a crazy checklist. We all know the checklist, the stuff that we think we need to do to be successful. And so we do it. And the kids need to eat this, and they need to do this, and they need to go to these classes, and then you need to do charity. And it's just, it isn't an organic, I want to go put my time, money, energy, being into this thing. It's like, oh, I need to do charity. I need to, okay, checklist. Okay. So there's those people. And then there's people that are like, nah, there's something more. I want to connect to my heart. I want to connect to spirit. And they kind of leave the world. I don't have enough hands to show that, but they leave the world, the societal checklist world, and they want to connect to heart-centered and spiritual, or nonprofit, or human-centered, but they're doing their own doing and suffering, because it's like a responsibility to be a good person and to do all the spiritual stuff. And so I see this all the time, and I kind of find myself in the middle, and I'm bopping between the two. But I've been in both camps, and they both have, they're both bound by things. And so when we talk about living your purpose, is that we are a physical person with thoughts, with a past, with a lineage, with the geography that we've been born on. And all of that informs who we are, what we're doing. So I'm white, European background. I'm in Canada. I'm not in the States. Like, I could have been, not too far, and I would be in the USA, and that would have a different energy, a different scholastic system that I would have grown up with, a different type of politics that I wouldn't have known when I was a kid, but I'd be absorbing. No, I'm in Canada, and that informs how I exist unconsciously, and then it shows up consciously. I'm going off into like big concepts. What I really, really want to say is that the whole point is that your you-ness, the clothes you want to wear, these glasses, people are like, I love those glasses. Like, on some level, what they're loving is that I'm wearing something so congruent to who I am. They're seeing me be me and really liking that. That's magnetism. When you see Celine Dion sing, she's kind of quirky, that she's so her. She's so unapologetic about it. She's so humble about her mastery. It's like, oh, I want more, and I'm glued. Beyonce obviously is like an obvious version of that. And people in politics, like these people that just are like doing the work to be fully them in their body and go out into the world and show the world. That's on a celebrity level. But what I want to say about life purpose and living big is that doesn't mean big and visible. It means be like, not getting bogged down in who you think you should be or how people see you. It's just like, oh, I like farming, or or I want to do this government job because my biggest value is parenting, and I love that I can just come and be with the people and do my job and then go home and have everything taken care of. And that's just, it's this like deeply, people throw around the word authentic all the time right now, but deeply authentic. doesn't have to measure up to someone else's metrics. So whereas that would be a hellish experience for me, just for all of the multitudes of reasons of me trying to be within a system and work within a system and have a boss. It just doesn't happen. I just actually physically reject it. Whereas for someone else, it's exactly what they want. They want the rules. They want to know what they're doing. They want to arrive at 9. They want to leave at 5. They want to have the vacation. Awesome. So what I get a lot of people coming to me when they have a job is that they're like, oh, but I should probably leave my job. I should probably do something else. Should. It's like, well, should you? Like, maybe this is perfect for you. And maybe you want to start taking painting classes, and maybe you want to, what is the thing that you've abandoned when you were a child that like lit you up that you no longer do because there's no time, there's kids, there's this, there's that. But what's the thing you've left that you could just start to weave in? It doesn't have to be so extreme. When people think that life purpose is like, it's all or nothing. Well, no, you start weaving it in. You start going, oh, yeah. You know what? I'm cool with this being a hobby. It doesn't have to be, like if you want to write blogs or you want to have a side hustle, that permission to just start to weave in the things that light you up, that's part of bringing your life purpose in. It doesn't, again, have to be so extreme. Quit your job, go do this. Like, you hear those stories because people like extreme stories. It's very good for story novels and movies. And it everyone knows like the hero's journey and the storytelling, so that there's the conflict and then there's the resolution. What if you could just be boring and bring in the things that mean something to you and release the idea of other people's opinions or other people's metrics, other people's ways of measuring your life, and really get centered and really sit with a piece of paper and really pay attention to what you pay attention to what you lean into, to what, when there's a conversation, you're like, you could talk about, that's more you. So you just have to bring more of that into your life. And then the other stuff really does start to fall away. And again, I'm oversimplifying because if this is all new information, that will feel overwhelming. And what I want to say is like your life purpose, living big, and then especially living spiritual. Living spiritual means living your life consciously, on purpose, noticing. And when I say on purpose, like, doesn't mean you know all the plans, you know all the steps. You won't. You just pay attention to your own information more so than the noise of the world. That's really what I'm saying. So the life purpose piece is already so woven into you that you kind of can't see it. So it's like, pay attention to what you pay attention to. Notice what lights you up. Notice the thing that you haven't even given yourself permission to do. My one client's like, yeah, I'm going to go to Paris. I don't have this burning desire within me to go to Paris. So she does. So should I go to Paris? No, not unless it's like, I want to go to Paris. I mean, I probably maybe will, because it does seem interesting. But until I have that, it's Napoleon Hill's book, very, very, very popular, Think and Grow Rich, is more about, isn't just about money. It's about this burning desire. It's about bringing these two pieces of our divinity, of our spiritual self and our humanness, this world that we're living in, and we're all here. And if you're here as a human being and you're one of those spiritual people that kind of like checks out, no, it is spiritual to live your life. And if you again get that very strong impulse that you're going to meditate for hours a day, and that is you, that's you being authentic, and not, not taking what I'm saying and now thinking you need to do something else. That won't happen. You have to run everything through your own system. And this is what people don't do, is they leave their system to figure out what they need to do, to be liked, to not get in trouble, to live their purpose. So they'll look on Instagram on how to live their purpose. And so now they work out because they need to be like, it's just flipping it and self-sourcing, flipping it and going, if I valued the information that's coming through me, for me, from the world and within meaning sensations, dreams, impulses, random flashes of insight in the shower, when you're driving, when you're doing dishes, like ring, like there's this flash of insight. That's where, Stephen King gets his ideas. That's where Steven Spielberg, all the creatives, pay attention deeply. And then what? They bring a movie into the world. They create a world into our world. And then we watch the world, and that's their thing. But for everyday people, you know, really it is like everything you need is here, and it isn't out there. And when you actually want to pay attention and you want to listen to what that ache is actually trying to tell you, and not abandon your feelings as like anxiety or depression or what's wrong with me, that's where people go. Oh, I'm feeling bad. What's wrong with me? I must be ungrateful. Well, I'm not in poverty. I shouldn't feel bad. Like, so much noise. But when I work with people, it's like, no, actually there's this like deep ache that everyone feels as a symptom, as a wake-up call, as a, hey, you really want to be tending bees right now, and you're not. And it's kind of this like one piece of a multitude of puzzles that I will never ever understand, and I don't think any of us ever will. Who knows? But I know that there's an intelligence that I can tap into, that I can source from, that I will never know all the answers. But what I can do is just do what I need to do. Right now I'm going to go work out, and then I'm going to have another client, and then I'm going to like make phone calls and make food and do all of the human stuff. But I'm at the same time, there's like this other level of activity happening that I don't have to pay attention to. Like my nervous system's working, my heart's working. It's the same level of like this very, very visceral world that we're living in. And it's like a whole ecosystem of our body, mind, and cells and everything is all doing its thing. So on a spiritual level, that's just the same. It is just the same, is that there's a whole other level of our lives that is directing us and intelligent and knows what it's doing. And then we can plug into that. So we can plug in here and plug in there. And then we've got our navigation system that most of us are really lacking. I know I did. That sucked. Like a lot, like just needing to always strive and never knowing the answer, and never feeling like I was getting there, always feeling like I was behind. And then when I actually really started to question these things, I was like, I didn't even know the answer. What are you afraid of? I didn't even really know the answer. I was just scared. What is the next thing to do? I don't know. Why are you behind? What are you behind for? Like when we start to question these pieces of ourselves that we're so afraid of, and then we run away from, or we're spiritual, and so we run away from it in a different way by chanting it, but not bringing it into our lives, going to church on Sunday, but not, this is kind of what this Facebook Live is meant to shine a light on. And it was funny because I just had a client just before this that kind of activated this conversation, because I had said, if you leave yourself, if you leave your body, you're wasting your incarnation. Like, here you are, all the information you need for your life is right here. And so many people are leaving their own authority, their own knowing, because they just haven't been taught that it matters, or given, or had this video to say, like, my desire with these videos is to have like whatever little click links with somebody, and then they're like, and then they hear and feel and know their own wisdom. I don't want to give advice so people just follow me. I want you to find your own way. Know that you already knew this, because you do. And that's the greatest feedback I can ever get. Is like, I already knew this. Great. Now go run with it. Go be it. Go do you. Go do the things that align with you. That is the deepest spiritual life. That is the life on purpose. That is the most authentic that you're going to be. And then you're in that sweet spot. You're actually navigating from your center. And so I'm glad that came back around naturally. I did not script this. I was like, oh, what a nice, and my brain was just hovering over this and saying, oh, what a great closing. Good job, Jenna. And that's how it goes, right? So I'm coming from just my being and I'm talking. And then this other part of my mind is observing and going, oh, great, we wrapped it up. And now I'm going to press end now. And that's a little example of all of the systems that are all working at the same time, that we can just start to really learn how to navigate and listen to and come from in order to have life not be so scary and not be so overwhelming, and just like, okay, time to do the dishes. Okay, put the kids to bed. Okay, feel the sun on my face. Okay, breathe. Okay, oh, hungry. Oh, then it becomes simple, and the simple becomes divine. And then we're in this really sweet spot of the intersection between who we really are. So you'll stop talking because I could just keep going. So good luck with that. Message me any questions, and yeah, go be you.